In this lesson, we will open a GeoNetWeaver Geo project and do a little exploring a GeoNetWeaver interface. Please note that there is a slider under this video that you can use at any time to pause and move back and forth within the lesson. Let's open a Geo project. Here we have the Watershed Condition Assessment Geo project open. GeoNetWeaver has three main areas. The map area for displaying and manipulating the map. It has some control at the top, which we will come back to. The dashboard area summarizes the current map. The legend area controls what is being mapped and how it is displayed. Let's return to the map area. Above the map is a collection of buttons. The first is the Geo Project Chooser. If you have multiple Geo projects open, this control will let you move easily between them. The next is a group of push buttons to control the map mode. Only one at a time of these buttons can be active. The first button in this group is the Identify button. This button puts GeoNetWeaver into its default mode, that is, to identify where you click. Next is the Zoom button. While in this mode, you click and drag cursor to zoom into the map. Next is the Pan button. While in this mode, you can click and drag the cursor to move the map. The next two buttons work together. The first puts GeoNetWeaver into selection mode to select features. The other releases those features. In selection mode, GeoNetWeaver will automatically recalculate the statistics for the current selection. Did you see the change in the dashboard? Watch as we add more features to the selection by holding down the Shift or Control keys while clicking. You can also click and drag a rectangle. Now if I click the Ghostbusters button, the selection will be released and the statistics will go back to being calculated for the entire map. Let's go back to the Identify mode. The next three buttons are Zoom buttons. The first is the Zoom to Full Extent button. It will return the map to its default zoom level. The next is the Zoom Out button. Followed by the Zoom In button. Let's return to the normal zoom. Pressing the Gear button reprocesses all the calculations for drawing the map. It becomes enabled if we make any changes to the knowledge base. We'll come back to this later. The Flag button selects the interface language. It's grayed out now because we don't currently have any extra languages installed. The question mark button opens the Help system. The Help system is context sensitive. It will move to the page that corresponds to where you are in GeoNetWeaver. Here you can see it is open to the Help for the main GeoNetWeaver window. Clicking the Help button again turns off the Help system. Let's take a look at the Dashboard area. The dashboard has three tabs: Dashboard, Statistics, and Info. The Dashboard tab gives us an overview of the current map. The leftmost fuel gauge represents how much of the map had at least some data. In this case, every feature had some data, so the gauge shows as full. The next fuel gauge represents how much data was available from the features that had at least some data. If the feature had no data, then it was not considered in the calculations. Next is a histogram of the current map where each bar's size represents the area of the map within its class. The big circle represents the average condition of the map. As with all the statistics, it is a weighted average, in this case, area weighted. Okay, now let's look at the Statistics tab. On the Statistics tab, you can change the weighting method. And view a table of basic statistics. On the Info tab, you can view any documentation for the currently mapped topic, or open the topic. As you click around the map, it loads the data for that feature, and the results show in the dependency network's colors. Now let's check out Legend area. First, let's talk about the Legend color block. The crosshairs indicate the status of the topic at the last feature clicked upon. Vertically, the color indicates the value of the topic so that the top is the highest value and the bottom the lowest. Data sufficiency is represented horizontally so that the crosshairs all the way to the left indicates all needed data is there, and all the way to the right indicates that all the needed data is missing. This feature has all of its needed data, while this feature has a little less than half of the required data. And this one has about 3/4 of its needed data. Now let's talk about the controls. The first two buttons are the forward and back buttons, and they work like the same buttons in your browser. We'll come back to them later once we have something to go back to. The next buttons all have drop-down lists of topics to move to. Let's move to another topic. Now the back button is lit up, so let's try it. Now we can use the forward button. All the way to the right is an options menu. The top menu item lets you toggle between seeing the map with or without the effects of missing data. This is without the effects of missing data. And now we'll set back to showing the effects of missing data. This next feature toggles the visibility of the polygons outlines on and off like this. The leftmost vertical slider controls the minimum amount of data needed before a feature is shown on the map. This way you get a visual idea of where data is missing. Here you can see what happens when we set the threshold to 50%. So now only those polygons with at least 50% of their data needs met are displayed. The others that have too little data are now transparent. The rightmost slide lets you alter the overall transparency of a result map layer so that you can peek at layers underneath. Now we will reset both to their default settings. Now let's look at the other tabs in the legend. This is the Outline tab. You can navigate the hierarchy of the knowledge base with the outline. The Results tab is a list of all the results in the Geo project and displays the values and data sufficiency for all the results topics. Let's scroll down to the currently mapped topic. As you can see, the currently mapped topic is highlighted. These highlighted topics are the topics that contribute to the current map topic, the one that was highlighted on the Results tab. Another way to state it is, all the highlighted topics on this page are antecedent to overall assessment. There are a number of other tabs to the right, one for each database table. If we click on one of them, say the Storette tab, you can see that it lists contents of the table, the current map features, and once again the antecedent data are highlighted. The lower section of the legend is your typical legend control and lets you control which layers are showing. We'll turn the tributaries layer on and back off. The next two features to be shown are a knowledge base menu. The first is a document browser. The document browser gives you access to any documents that have been attached to the knowledge base at the top level. We need to display a different topic to demo this next feature. Now we will open Data and Constants browser. The browser has two tabs. The first tab displays the data values for wherever on the map you last clicked. A little hint. If you click the Identify button in the toolbar above the map, it will flash that last place. The Other tab lists all the constants for the knowledge base along with their assigned values. These values can be edited here. Say we want to change the value of the topmost one, ag slope fail. It is currently set to 10, which can be interpreted here as meaning the dependency network will be completely false if the amount of agriculture on slopes is 10% or more. Maybe you want to see what the map looked like if the value was 30%. So we have changed the value. Well, the map still looks the same. That's because we now need to reprocess the results. Let's close this window to get it out of the way. See the gear button? Notice how it's not grayed out anymore? That indicates that changes have been made and we need to reprocess the results. So let's do it. Now we have a newly recalculated map. See the difference in changing threshold value from 10% to 30? Under the Geo Project menu are a couple of items that should be noted. GeoNetWeaver can produce a full set of documentation that includes full documentation knowledge base, all data, and all maps. It's generated to HTML with some JavaScript thrown in to make the tables sortable and the outlines live. Documentation can be posted to a website or browsed from a hard drive. GeoNetWeaver also builds a single file version as a Microsoft compiled help file, which is easy to use and distribute. All the maps can be exported as a set of shapefiles that can be used in your favorite GIS. Setup opens a wizard for editing the Geo project. That concludes this lesson. Thank you.